That. Let's see here. Come on. Here we go. Are we? Yep. Alrighty. Good, 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 good. Alrighty. Well, all right, here we go. Let me put that in there. Let me see here. All right. There we go. I'm just typing this out here and we'll get started. All right, there we go. All right, what is going on, people that are watching live, that will be watching later? I am here to do a podcast tonight, not about gaming. I get to do a podcast about another subject that I really do like, because again, this breaking news, the console war is over. It's been over for Phil Spencer's declared it over, so it's time for everybody to move on. So let's see here. I will be doing a podcast tomorrow morning about some of the specs that are on for the PS5 and the Xbox. But yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. It's going to be my Take It with a Grain of Salt podcast. So I'm just going to have it scrolling, and then there we go. So. Yeah, a little bit about that uncompetitive. Shout out to you. A little bit of the Epic of Gamish. Let me see why I don't know why I have to do this all the time. Let me go to the chat box and blah 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 blah. Make sure it's working. It says it's working. It's like it's almost like this has to be reset all the time. I don't. Let's change it to change the background in here. All right, there we go. Yeah, I do not know why that does not work all the time. So, yeah, what's going on Uncompetitive? Glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of it. Just kind of do an overview of it and then do it from there. So, um, yeah, the Sumerians were doing cuneiform clay writing way before the Mayans. Way before the Mayans. But yeah, well yeah, I mean I tell you this right now. The Golden State Warriors are a horrible basketball team. Horrible. They won 12 games. I could trot out there with 8 to 10 guys and win 12 games. So but all right then. All right, so let's kind of get started. So if you don't know who the Sumerians are, based on the people of the Mesopotamia and the Arcadians, and you go back further, what is now modern day Iraq, okay? The Fertile Crescent, right around in that area, the is where you will find Sumar, and Sumar is a place in Iraq that the Sumerians actually settled in. They settled in Sumar. They also settled in what will be South Africa, kind kind of right on the border of South Africa and the northern countries. And so, no, they did not settle in Egypt. For all you know, we're going back further than Egypt for the people who don't know. So, um, mine looks like hip hop graffiti to you. Okay. It wasn't called graffiti. Graffiti, they used to call it tagging, bombing. They did not call it graffiti at all. But so, all right, so the Sumerians, who were the Sumerians? Well, the Sumerians were human. Okay. The Sumerians were human. People have asked multiple times, who were the Sumerians? The Sumerians were human. Everything but when they translated their writings, they got into the Sumerian cosmology, where they say they came from, and what they say is through 7 tablets called, I believe they're called the Enuma Elish. And the Enuma Elish is pretty much the creation of humans on Earth. The arrival of the Anunnaki, which stands for those who came from the sky, or those from the sky came. The Anunnaki have maps of our solar system, our part of the solar system. It is the Anunnaki that told us that Uranus and Neptune look like blue and green watery twins. That's in their writing. There's no way for them to have known that unless they went past it. And they went past it on their way to find a planet full of monatomic elements. And monatomic elements are copper, gold, silver, anything that can conduct a current. Um, the reason why astronauts have shielding around their eyes is because that does reflect the sun. That's why they have that weird looking visor on, because because there's no atmosphere in space. Yes, I know there's people out there who think that NASA hasn't even left the planet. I got that. That's not what this is about. So let's start very quick synopsis on them getting to Earth. So they get to Earth. When they get to Earth, only one of them is here, and his name is Enlil. Enlil means Lord of Command. Okay, Enlil translates to Lord of Command. So Enlil gets to Earth. The first creature he stumbles upon is a snake. Okay, the first creature he stumbles upon is a snake, and it bites him. So he kills the snake. But because of that, that's why you get the whole thing of serpents and snakes being evil and stuff like that. You know. So, but it bit him. So he gets to Earth. He tests the ground for monatomic elements. He finds out they're here. He sends a signal back to their home planet, which is Nibiru. Okay, Nibiru is their home planet. It's also called the 12th planet, or the ninth planet, Planet X. You probably heard it called that. But Nibiru is similar to Earth. Okay, Nibiru is similar to Earth. It's bigger than Earth. It's heavier, of course, but it's got oceans and it's got mountain ranges. It's similar to Earth. Is similar to Nibiru, and so they know about Earth. They know it's been here for a while. They get here, or he gets here. Enlil gets here. Test the air that they can breathe here. They also test the fact that it has monatomic elements. He sends a signal back to his planet, and more Anunnaki come. Okay, the Anunnaki that come here first are called the Ngigi miners. Okay, they're called Ngigi. They're Anunnaki, but they're workers. Okay, they are workers. So since they are working, they have to go down into caves and caverns, and the work is horrible. I mean, the work is horrible, and they don't like it. The Anunnaki that are here, they're toiling, they're bitching and moaning. Um, they don't like the toiling. It's hotter here on this planet. They're aging faster on this planet. again, they call Earth. Oh, what was the name of Earth? Here, let me look it up. I have it right here on the tip of my tongue. Um, they didn't call it Earth. I think they called it Tiamat. So, what is the let's see here. Call Earth. Let's see here. Uh, let's see here. It's right here. Yeah, then they call Earth Tiamat. Yeah, they are Kia. I'm sorry. Their name for Earth was Ki, Ki. So and so this is why. So Ki, Ki, Kia is the Earth goddess. Okay, the name comes from Kishar, goddess of Earth. Okay, so but another name for Earth they had, I believe, was Tiamat. Tiamat, and the moon was called Kinko. That I did remember. So now where was I before? Let me go back here. Okay, so they're here on Earth at this point. There's a bunch of them here. They're toiling. I mean, it takes them about they can get here in about 24 months from their planet. So they're toiling. They do not like it here. Um, and so they're going on and on and on. And Enlil's brother, remember, Enlil is in charge of everything. Enlil means Lord of Command. Enlil's brother, Inky. Inky comes in. Inky, Enki. Inky gets here with his wives and his family, and they say, okay, Inky's like a mad scientist, okay? Inky has been observing the creatures on the earth. Again, there are no humans on earth. They're just upright walking creatures on earth. So, and what's up, Tron? And yeah, Nibiru. Well, Nibiru was their home planet. Ki was Earth. Earth was also called Tiamat, and the moon that we call Luna is called the moon's official name is Kinko. So that's what they call the moon. There's other Sumerian words you say all the time, but you just don't know. You say chariot. Chariot means vehicle of movement. And as you can see, as you say right now, I'd say, I'm going to go hop in my chariot. I'm going to hop in my vehicle of movement. Semen means water. Water translates to life. Woman, Woman, is pronounced womb man. Womb dot Mane, woman. So we call so that's where it comes from. And there's a lot of people don't know these words. Will is a Sumerian word. So, um, and will is again, will was the will is a gift. The circular object is a gift given to humans by the Anunnaki. It means technology as well. So, Tron, you just got a marriage proposal. All right. Oh, you don't want to be married. Okay. So so all right. So the Igigi miners, they're here, they're bitching and moaning. They don't like it here. It's hot. It's hot in the pits that they have to get the coal out of, or the coal. It's hot that they have to get their monatomic elements. Mainly gold is what they were mining in Africa. To this day, there's still elements in Africa that are just they have a shit ton of it. And so anyway, they're mining, and Inky again has a lab. Inky's lab is in what would be called South Africa. Okay, we'll kind of right out there on the cusp of South Africa. Enlil, the Lord of Command, he lives in Mesopotamia. He lives in what is modern day Iraq. Okay, so finally, a group of people go and they demand an audience. A group of Igigi miners is so fed up, is so terrible, the conditions that they're toiling in, to get this stuff off Earth and get it to their planet, because their planet they had a damaged atmosphere on their planet, so they're trying to use the monatomic elements to heal the atmosphere of their planet. They demand an audience with Enlil. I mean, they demand it. And again, this is the Lord of Command that they demand an audience with. And so they basically say it's this horrible conditions. We can't keep doing this. We're done doing it. They're acting like a bunch of X-bots. You know, they're just making excuses. They don't understand why they have to do this. You know, this is horrible here. And so Enlil says, well, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to kill all of you all. You know, I mean, because I'll just get more people. You know, you dig? So Enlil's like, you know, I'm just going to get more people. You know, I'm tired of your mouth. I'm tired of your condition. We're here to try to save our planet. And you all are going off. You all are nuts. You know, this is crazy. And so Inky steps in and says to the Lord of Command, that's his brother, you know, he basically says, Your Highness, if you will spare them, I would like to show you something. Then if what I show you isn't to your liking, you can come back here, and if you still want to kill him, you kill him. And so Enlil goes with Inky in his chariot, his vehicle of movement, back from Mesopotamia all the way back to, he goes from Mesopotamia to back to where is now South Africa. And remember, there are no continents. There's just one big continent. So there's this one big continent. Rudy Legend with a $10 super chat. Since you're here, will you talk about how they blew up a ship on a mountain, the Ark? I don't think the Ark ever did that. The Ark is said to have torn down the walls of Jericho. Is that what you mean? So is that what you're talking about? But no, that's the Ark. If you're talking about the Ark of the Covenant, if that's the Ark you're talking about. So if you're talking about a cosmic Ark, I'm not sure of that story. So, man, that was late as hell. Well, like I said, it's I'm gonna have to change my thing here. Let me go back in here and update the event list. I have to do that. We're gonna have to go to done, and then we're gonna have to, let's see. Oh, I got my SSD today. I'll show it to you guys tomorrow morning on my podcast. I'm doing great, Tron. I'm doing wonderful. I heard you all's podcast yesterday. You all were giving them the business about the Xbox. So I just have to update the donation goal. And let me put this in again. So the goal amount is $150. And we are at $83. So let me 03 01 2020. And done. And lock it up. All right, so we're more than halfway there, guys. We're more than halfway there. Sure. So sure thing. No problem. Let me know when we can do it in Discord. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and while we're kind of in a break, let me go into the another super chat. All right. That's part of the Sumerian story, but it's not the story of creation. So I'll do that another time. So Now I know you're talking about the cosmic art. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I didn't before. So let me. I'm trying to. I'm going to Discord. Shout out to Grudy Legends again for the $10 super chat. Let me go here. Let me go to open chat. And there you go. So when I get off the air, Tron, if you want to go to the RGT open chat, if you want to go in there, it'll just be me and you talking. It will not be on the air. So I'll do this, and then I'll stay in the open chat, RGT open chat, for about 10 minutes. And if you want to jump on, that's fine. Again, it's off the air. We will not be on the air. Or if you want to call, let me know. I'll send you my number. And if it's a big deal, we'll talk about it. It's not a big deal. Noah's Ark was a spaceship. It was a craft. It was a boat. Noah's Ark was a boat, but all indications that it was a boat. So now where was I? Okay, so Enlil and Inky are brothers. So Inky, the scientist, is on his way in the craft of Enlil, the Lord of Command, and they get to Africa. They get down to the southern tip of Africa, and Inky goes in to his lab, and on the top of his lab door, would you believe there is the symbol of humanity, which are these twin spirals, okay, of DNA. There's these twin spirals of DNA. And that's what you all, if you look at the symbols of healthcare workers on their coats, on their lab coats, um, of their lab coats, they went ahead and that's the symbol of humanity, our DNA. But anyway, so he gets them in there, and he has these creatures that are caught, and very good chance they were Cro-Magnon. I don't think they were Cro-Magnon. I think they were. It could have been Cro-Magnon. Um, but they were upright walking creatures. They weren't human, but they were upright walking creatures. And so they decided to fashion a worker. Again, they decided to fashion a worker. So they took a creature from the earth, and they started to try to fashion a worker. So when he tells Enlil, this is what he plans to do, and you can go if you would like and tell the workers that are complaining that relief is on the way, but it's going to take time to fashion it. So Enlil goes back to Mesopotamia, Iraq, the Fertile Crescent, and tells the Igigi miners, all right, you all got to go back to work. We are working on a solution, but y'all got to keep working, you know. And you have RH negative blood. Okay, that's odd. RH negative blood. So AB positive blood is extremely rare. So, but no, you're not a vampire. Golden State is terrible. They are terrible. They win 12 games. Anyway. All right. So all right. So Inky, the scientist, gets started. Okay. And he starts manipulating the Earth hominoid DNA. And he goes ahead, and it's him, and I believe his wife, Nishada. I think that's her name. Hold on, let me get her name correct here. Let's see here. So I'm sorry, it was not Nishada, it was Namu. Nammu. Namu. So, who is either the sea or the goddess of the riverbed, goes on to her son Inky, who's asleep in the deep. The the Apus. The entreats him to rise from his bed and fashion servants of the gods. Inky, who after all is the god of wisdom, thinks of germinating powers of clay and water of the abyss. And he tells Namu to have some womb goddesses pinch off this clay and have some princely fashioners sticking it so she can mold it or give birth to it. So they are starting to look at different models to start creating an actual physical worker. So, you know, we don't have monkey DNA. Monkeys are primates, and we don't have primate DNA. You have human. You're a human. You are a fashioned person. You were created. Maybe not in the fashion you've been told, but so the Sumerian tablets again. This is, I believe, is the fourth tablet of the Sumerian creation called the Enuma Elish. There's 7 tablets, uh, 6 tablets of action, which is apparently to God's 6 days to create the earth, and the seventh day is summation, which is a rest. So, so, but but anyway, so they start fashioning a worker, and they take DNA from an Anunnaki, and then they take DNA, from the primates, from the hominoids, not primates, from the hominoids, and they start trying to fashion a worker. The first one that was born, the first one that was born through was artificial insemination. It did not look right. It only had one hand, it had one eye, it had 2 ears, it had a face, but it wasn't looking too good. And it couldn't talk. So they discarded that one. When I mean discarded it, I mean it's just like a kid playing with Legos. Okay, they try to build something one way. It's kind of like, this don't look right. So they go ahead and they start tearing it apart. So they were destroying it. I mean, who cares? I mean, if you're trying to create something that works right, you will tear it up and make it correct. So they end up, the second human is born. And when it comes out, its entrails are hanging out. So it's kind of like this is not working good. So so what they wanted is not working, and so they're having issues. Meanwhile, the Igigi miners are getting more. They're getting restless. What the hell's going on? You promised us relief and things like that. So the rest of the Anunnaki come, and they're like, well, we don't have to fashion a human, fashion a being, fashion something. We can give them tools. So they were up there arguing amongst themselves. Do we give them better tools to use to help with their labor, or do we allow you to fashion a slave so that they could get it done? But Inky's still trying to get stuff correct. So he finally takes part of the DNA of an Anunnaki female. He takes part of the DNA of an earthbound creature. They fashion it, meaning they put it together. They put it into the woman, the Anunnaki woman, not the human female, because there are no human females yet. They take part of they take that, they put it inside the Anunnaki woman. She gives birth, and it comes out looking mostly red, like a dark reddish brown color. Okay, this dark reddish brown color. It's hairy. They smack it once, they smack it twice, and it starts screaming. So they say they have it. This is it. They have it. Okay. So they go ahead and they make another one. And then they make another one. And then they make another one because now they have the correct template. So now they start making humans. They make human males first. The first human male that they made was called Adamu. Okay. If you watch the TV show Battlestar Galactica, what was the name of their captain? It was Adama. It's a takeoff of Adamu. Okay. Adama can be pronounced Adamu if you want to. If you wanted to. So, O positive is, I think O is universal donor, but so yeah, so now they have a human male. They're like, oh, okay, well this is this is great. So they take the human males and they start raising them, and they grow extremely fast, like a baby grows now. And what's the one of the things you'll see the baby on Monday, and then and say you have a niece or a nephew, you see the baby on Monday, you don't see it for 2 weeks, you come back and the baby's trying to drive the car. You know, the first thing you say is, "Oh my, look how big it's getting." So they were amazed. The Anunnaki, based on the translations, they were amazed at how fast humans were growing. You know, they were amazed. But again, it does not have a soul yet. It doesn't have a true essence yet. It's aimlessly walking around. Okay? Because again, it's part Anunnaki and it's part human. You know, and it's part creature of the earth. I can't say it's human. It's part creature of the earth and part Anunnaki. Again, it's walking. It's trying to talk. They're laughing at it because they're not stable. Just like you see a baby walking, it's like, my God, how does that baby walk like that? It's not stable. So um, so anyway, they keep on making them, and then they decide that Inky, being the mad doctor that he is, decides to fashion females. And again, they go in, they take a human they take a teenage male. Again, they take a teenage male and they go in and they get the DNA out of it and they start fashioning a female. Now, people are like, well, how do they do this? These guys are DNA masters. They cut and they splice DNA with razor like precision. How they did it, unknown. I can simply tell you that the way your brain is, your body only has to function with like 3 to 7% of the brain. You don't have access to all of your brain because whatever created you did not want you to know everything. You got created to do basic menial tasks. Go bring the animals in, go get, go herd the sheep, go bring, go pick crops. Okay? That's what you got made for. You were fashioned to help them. So they create their first female, and then they create another female. Then they create another female. Then they create more females. And so they put the human males and then the human female together. And again, the human males are older than the human females. So anyway, they take them to a place called the Eden, which means the flat lands. Eden is, as Sumerian, it means the flat place, the flat lands. Okay, so they take them there and they just leave them alone, and they're going to see. Well, we're going to see what happens when they're together. You know, are they aggressive? Are they, what do they do? And so they leave them alone. And of course, eventually the females mature. And once the females mature, the men now, because the females are 12 to 15 years old, the males are anywhere from 25 to 30 years old. They start having sex with the females. The only problem is that the females are not getting pregnant. Okay, and there was no such thing as birth control, and the males weren't doing what I do, which is pull out. So again, they were not getting pregnant. So they have to go back and start all over again. Okay, because you guessed it, the first males on planet Earth they were impotent. Okay, they were shooting blanks. So they go back in to the lab. They get rid of those males and females because what's the point of having them? You dig? What's the point of having them? Because they're not doing what they need to do. And meanwhile, the Igigi miners are getting more pissed off. And Enlil's hearing it. So Enlil goes back down to South Africa, or what is now southern part of Africa, and he jumps Inky shit. Like, what the hell's going on? These people are getting on my nerves at this point. Okay, they're outside where Inky is living. They're outside where Enlil's living. They're about to revolt. they finally get a male that is capable of reproducing. But their problem is that they have to go back in and they create more females. They create way more females than they do men because the female species at the time is more docile. It's not a feminist yet. So it's a much more docile species. So they create more females than men. They're like, okay, well, you can have 7 to 10 males impregnate these females. So anyway, the females they call Eve. And again, the story of Adam and Eve is that it within the biblical ranks is trash. Okay, it is trash. It is Red Dead Redemption 2 graphically on Xbox One X. It's lower than low. There's no way one man and one woman populated the entire planet. Okay, they had a whole bunch of women that they just called Eve. It was just one species of female called Eve. And they decided to go ahead and that's what they use. Now, of course, you hear this is Adam and Eve, but now you need to understand that there are more than one Adam and there's more than one Eve. And at this point, they are reproducing. Okay, so now that they're reproducing, they can take the Adam and they can take the Eve and they can take the children and they show them to the Igigi miners. And the Igigi miners back down at that point. It's like, oh, okay, this is correct now. They're coming. We understand now. So everything kinds of settle back down. Okay, everything settles back down. Except one day, and now you know this story already. One day, the species of Eve is in the Garden of Eden, or the Eden, and she wants to know. She's messing around with things in the Garden of Eden, and she asks Enlil. She asks Inky. Inky's there watching them. And she asks Inky, what's this? And Inky says, well, that's something that you can eat. But if you eat that, you're going to grow a conscience. You'll be like us. You become a being. You'll become a functioning being. And because Inky's a scientist, he wants her to eat it. So Eve eats it and gains a conscience. Eve gains a conscience. Okay? Adam eats it. So now all the Eves have eaten it, all the Adams have eaten it. They now have a conscience. It's now a being. It's now a being meaning that it has a conscience. It has a soul. It has a functioning conscience. It's genetically able to process information. It knows right from wrong. Okay. And so Inky's a scientist. So he wanted to see what was going to happen. So now he sees what's going to happen, what happens to the species when they eat it. That is the story of Eve biting the forbidden fruit. Now, what is portrayed in the Bible, I believe, is that she ate an apple. The Bible does not delineate what she ate. Okay? She could have touched something and it gave her the knowledge. Okay? But it's delineated that she broke it, she ate something. But they don't say that she ate. They don't say what she ate. So how do they know she ate anything? You see what I'm saying? You did. So anyway, now Eve has a conscience and so does Adam. And Enlil finds out. Enlil's like, okay, you got to come back down here. They're acting different. They're acting strange. Enlil, the Lord of Command, comes back. He goes to the Garden of Eden, the flat place. And he starts observing Adam and Eve. He gets to Eve and he simply asks her, he gets to Eve and Eve is covered up. Eve has her body covered with leaves. And Enlil, the Lord of Command, looks at her and says, why do you have those around you? And she said, I did not want you to see me naked. And Enlil says, how do you know what naked means? Because they're not supposed to have a conscience. They're not supposed to know things like that. Enlil is hot. He is pissed. He gets inky. He calls him up. He says, we got to have a talk. We got to have a sit down. He has a sit down, except he calls Inky in front of the entire Anunnaki council. And he starts going in on him. I mean, because now Enlil feels some kind of way. I think that's what you kids say. Enlil's feeling some kind of way. And so now Enlil's feeling some kind of way. They're pissed off at him, and they're pissed off at Inky, and the council starts going in on him. How could you do this? We came here to fashion. We came here to see if our miners, if our people needed tools. You have created a being. A being. It has a conscience. We weren't supposed to come here and play God on this planet. God meaning the Anu. Anu is the only one that's supposed to have the ability to grant life, not Inky. And because of this, the council says, all right, but they got to let it go because the humans at this point are starting to work. And now the Igigi miners aren't working as hard and they like them. So the toll of the day, the toll meaning toll, like you go to a toll bridge and you pay a toll. So the humans are able to work the planet better because they're native to the planet. They belong here. But they're still acting nuts. So they give them the nickname, and you've heard this called Lulu. So the name that humans were given by the Sumerians, by the Anunnaki is Lulu. Lulu means the confused ones. And it makes sense because they're part Anunnaki and they're part human. Now, what did they look like? They had dark skin because remember, they're from Africa. They had dark skin, but they have extremely hairy bodies. So, and they could talk, they could break sound like I'm doing now and talk, not just grunt and things like that. But they call them the confused ones. Even to this day, if you say don't talk to that girl, she's a Lulabelle. It just means she's a very confused person. So, and Lulu is Sumerian for the confused one. So they go ahead and they let the humans stay around, except they're humans, and they start acting crazy. And Inky says, okay. He goes to Enlil. Enlil summons him and says, I'm going to get rid of these guys. I'm getting rid of them. I'm going to get rid of them because they are making too much noise. They're nasty. They're eating everything. They're working, but they wear down faster than the Igigi miners do. But they're still giving the Igigi. But when they work together with them, they get a better toll. So I'll leave the story right there because there's something that Enlil decides to do that everybody knows about, and there's something that Inky does to counter that. So, but yeah, that is the story of the Enuma Elish. That is the creation of humans. Why did they create humans? Because they needed help getting monatomic elements off the earth. Humans worked the best because they were already a creature of the earth. They were a creature of the earth, and they decided, yeah, look, this is good. This is working for us. But yeah, the humans came with problems. They were confused. They were Lulus. And since they were Lulus, they decided to do something terrible to them. So but again, they were just there were several. I want to say there were 7 different types of humans before they finally got one that could walk, talk, had all 4 fingers and 1 thumb. Again, your hand is native to this planet. Okay, You have the, you're working, your thumb being opposite is what they think has given humans the ability to evolve to where we are. So, but your thumb is like nothing else on the planet. Primates have a thumb too, but primates have 48 chromosomes and humans have 46. And if you know anything about DNA, that's a lot of DNA missing when you take two chromosomes out. Humans also have a fused chromosome, and this is the chromosome that is that's the one, the fused chromosome is the one that makes no sense because you shouldn't have a fused chromosome. Okay, and that is a defect. So rodents have thumbs. Yeah, and rodents, yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't, no, they don't. Well, I guess if you want to call a raccoon a rodent, raccoons' hands work just like human hands. They can open things, they can put things in, they can put things away. So, but yeah, but that is the story right there of the creation of humans on Earth. So, and so I'll leave the story there, and you have to remember that the humans were, they're on Earth, but now so are the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki are not too happy that the humans have a conscience. They don't like the fact that the humans have a conscience. So Inky didn't care that humans got a conscience because he is a scientist. And so in order for him to see humans evolve, to see what was going to happen to them, he needed them to get a conscience. But now that they have a conscience, they're getting worse and worse. So, so yeah. So any questions? Any questions or comments? So yeah, again, and now they found tools. They found ancient tools in Africa. They have found ancient the caves that the humans worked in Africa. What they never found in Africa, besides Egypt, Egypt is in Africa. If you ask an African, a native African, who built pyramids, they'll say Africans did it. Okay, it's only Western society that says no, it was Egyptians. Well, Egypt is in Africa. Okay, Egypt is in Africa. So, just it is what it is. So, but any questions now, Tron? Do you want, what does the Anunnaki look like? They were winged creatures. They're very tall, anywhere from 7 to 8.5 feet tall. The females were 7 feet tall. The males were 8 to 8.5 feet tall. Winged creatures. They had 3 fingers, 1 thumb. Um, they wore. They had to their skin, as far as what their skin tone looked like. They had extremely. They had grayish skin, but they had like red. They had red and black eyes. So just depending on what their lineage was. They had real big noses. They had real thick lips. So, um, I mean, they were intimidating looking. I mean, if you were to see one today, they'd be very intimidating looking. So, but yeah, yeah, that is it. Yeah, rodents have. No, I've not had any whiskey tonight. I'm doing good tonight. Um, True that the Anunnaki caused a great cataclysm that split the. Oh, your comment cut off right there. They were probably real sweet and nice. No, they weren't. They weren't. Not what they did to us. No, not what they did to the humans. No. So, what was the chariot like? Chariot just means vehicle of movement. So, that's all a chariot means. So, the Anunnaki's chariots, based on what your ancestors drew, they were descending from the sky and coming at will. And let's look at the story of Ezekiel's tower. Ezekiel is told by the angels to build a tower so that God could land his chariot on that tower, on the tower. And he says, and Ezekiel says, well, I don't want to do that. And they simply said to him, well, that's what we need you to do. Was it airborne? Yeah, the vehicles of movement were airborne. So, no, not an airport. They wanted him to build a tower. Well, I guess technically it would be an airport. So, are the pyramids landing sites for UFOs? I don't know. That's a different podcast. Which pyramids are you talking about? So, no problem, Garudia. Thank you for reminding me. And I was going to do this last week, but I got busy doing other things. First guys left humanity, the black ones, how Empire and Anunnaki came back, stopped them, and made them into the Babylon. Now that based on that is, I don't know that one. I don't know that. Once the Anunnaki left Earth, they left. They left. So the pyramids of Giza. Um, I the only thing I know about the pyramids of Giza is that they are directly lined up under Orion's belt. So a lot of people think that there's something about that constellation with the pyramids of Giza. Why the Africans did that? Either it was blind luck. There's a possibility that they just got lucky to put them there, but it's doubtful. It is doubtful. So your girlfriend was at, oh shit, she was high maintenance, but the sex was great. Well, I understand that. I certainly hope so. Oh, Tron, are you gonna jump into the Discord, the RGT Discord? I'm asking here. I'm just taking some questions now. So if you want to jump in, go ahead and jump in. So I don't think a flying saucer, a UFO, would land on the pyramid, but we won't know. There's pyramids all over the planet, though. So, well, thank you. I'm not for sure what that means, but I appreciate it. So, no, you're not on RGT Discord. Don't. Well, I don't think you have to be. If you can just go there and let's see here. You can just go to the RGT Army, and there's just something called Open Chat. So if you just go to Open Chat, that's a private room that I'm using now. So that's if you want to. So yeah, but no, I wasn't gonna flake. Like there's a lot of information. I had to kind of brush up on it again, but I used to know a lot more about it. I mean, there's a lot more I could tell you all. I could go back further than them, being in the galaxy and having a station on Mars and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what this was about, you know. So so this was about them just getting here and creating humans and getting off the planet. So yeah, and again, there's pyramids all over the planet there, Mark Jones. I mean, they're all over the planet. So it now. I think there was an engineer who said that a friend of mine is an engineer, and he said a pyramid is a triangle base is the most sturdy thing to build any foundation on. So, I mean, that's what he has said. So, where the source is? Let me see here. I did not put that down. Um, I went to the US org, DVUS USD org site to get the matter of fact here. Let me copy it and I'll put it into the chat. That'll be the thing for me to do. And I'll put it there. There's my source right there. So Yeah, there's my source. So, and again, that's just part of one tablet that they translated. So it's like, do you know the way, my brother? So, oh, I have to send you an invite. Okay, let me see if I know how to do that here. Um, well, let's see here. Well, I tell you what, I'm just going through. Let's see here. I'm not getting a result for you. It's like, do you know the way, my brother? I'm stuck on that whole Ugandan knuckles thing. I do not see you over here. I see Trill Zero, Trey BK. Darn it. Okay, let's do this then. Um, let's alrighty. All right, I am now in the oh my. Okay, now I'm in the I'm in the roundtable podcast right now. I'm in the podcast waiting room. If you want to come in there, so that's the roundtable podcast. I'm in. It's just called. It says voice channels. It says podcast waiting room. That's where I'm at right now. So if you want to pop in there, because that's the only place I can go to. Let's see here. Oh, there you are. All right, there. Well, let me end this before you start. All right, now test your mic here. Let me make sure I can hear you. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta go do this. Let me go to desktop audio and. All right, I can hear you now. Okay, well, let me end this stream, guys, so I can talk to Tron. Oh, thanks for the $5 super chat, Rudia. I will update the AMD thing there. And guys, I will talk to you all later. Thanks for joining me on this stream, and I'll get some more pyramid information. And,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
The pyramids in America. There's a whole bunch. I found out. There's a lot of pyramids in America.
That's true. That is true.
A lot of them. They just been they're just been what do they call that? They just being heavy guarded right now.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Would not surprise me at all. But all right, guys, I'm gonna jump on off here so I can talk to Tron off the thingy. So I'm gonna end the stream. Y'all have a good, blessed evening. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. I need to get me a Mountain Dew. All right, then, guys. I'll holler at you.